Hey everyone, if you are struggling to write your thesis and you only have about 3 months or less, this video is for you. The main takeaway message from this video is that you need to give a talk before writing your thesis. And this talk is not your defense talk, it's just a talk to the general audience. Now let me dive right into the story because I did not plan on doing this. It happened coincidentally, but I'm so happy it did. So in February 2024, our department organized a seminar series where grad students get to share their research with their fellow colleagues at the university. So we were told to give a 20 to 30-minute talk on our project. At that point, I haven't started writing on my thesis, nor was I ready to defend. But something interesting happened to me. You see, the first thing I was struggling was with coming up with a structure for my thesis because I had multiple small projects. Some of you might have one huge project that you're trying to fit in to a thesis. That's also fine. Now, a structure helps you come up with a cohesive story because if you don't know that, it's very hard for your reader to go through your book because a thesis is more like a book and there has to be a cohesive story where one chapter builds up from the previous one. Now, and I can understand it's a daunting task because writing is an exercise of logic and it doesn't come naturally. You have to sit down and think. But over here, what I want to do is show you that if you can first put yourself in a situation where you are giving a talk first, where you're preparing the slides first, that actually gives you the spark to help you with your writing journey. So now, like I said before, a structure is like the skeleton of a dinosaur, right? Let's say you want to recreate the dinosaur, you start with the skeleton first. Once you have this skeleton ready, you just have to put in the meat and muscles, and then you slowly cover it up with the skin. So the structure of your thesis is very similar to this. And you use structures in many areas. You even have a structure when you're giving a talk as well. So you can actually use that same structure to give a talk as well as a thesis. But when it comes to giving a talk, it's a lot easier. You don't have that pressure. You don't have to be perfect because you can make mistakes and you can always change them along the way. And of course, in a talk, you don't have to mention everything, right? You have to kind of look at your audience and then put the stuff that is relevant to them. So this helps you get started. It gave me the nudge that I needed and the step in the right direction. So when I was making the slides for my talk, I was thinking of what I should share with my audience and how I should present my ideas without confusing them. And I was building a cohesive story. So before I had to give the talk, I showed it to a couple of my friends and colleagues and asked for their advice. Were they able to understand what I said? Do I need to provide this information or was it unnecessary? All those things I got feedback from my friends and they were very happy to do it because, like I said, a talk is much easy. It could be a couple of slides, like say 20 slides, right? You can't ask them to read an entire book and give you feedback. This is much easier. And with this feedback, it helped me write my thesis better and also deliver my talk better. So always get advice from people who are not from your field, right? So at that moment is only when I realized like I just figured out the structure of my thesis and I can use this same structure for other things as well. Of course, after giving the talk, I had to modify the structure a little bit for the thesis, but it gave me that push that I needed. And of course, after giving your thesis, you have to do a defense talk, right? So I, of course, use that same structure for my defense talk as well. So if I had not given this talk, I would have never known. So for you, what I recommend is put yourself in a position where you are supposed to give a talk, give a speech out in public. And that will give you the nudge you need to create the contents for your thesis and come up with a cohesive story. If you didn't do this, it would be very hard to begin with. Quick thing I wanted to share with you is that these are the slides that I used for my research talk. And like I said before, this was way before my defense or submitting my thesis. This is how I generated the ideas. So first off, I start off with the background. What is chromatin? And then since I'm talking to a physicist about some biology, I thought of introducing some basic facts about biology. And then why is this, how is this compacted? Why is the motion important? I go like that, and also show some videos. And then under materials and methods, how do we see chromatin? And this is, in this area, I talked about the tools I developed. And as I scroll down, I talk about the microscopy techniques and everything. And then okay, and then I talked about my first project, because this, like I said, I did a series of my small projects, and I thought of stitching them together in a cohesive manner. And then I switched to so after each small project, I give the conclusions, and then I switch to the second project, and like that I go ahead. And at some cases I had to split projects into different sub projects so that it was easy for me to tell the story. Okay, and then conclusions here, and then another project, and then after going through here, yeah, and then finally it was conclusions, and then my acknowledgements, and then there were some slides for questions. So this is how I constructed my research talk. And as you can see, I guess it's a lot, but it's about 44 slides. And in that 30 to 45 minutes, I was able to deliver this. So yeah, there you have it, guys. This is how I created my research talk. I know it's a lot, but at least it helps you get started.